Hello, this is Coco coming live from our house. We've been out, a friend of ours caught a lizard for Judah, and so that's what we've been doing today. We went to pick up the lizard. It's a big day. Got a lizard for Judah. He's going to be so happy. And we're going to do lettering lesson 7, and so I asked Coco to come be my trusty assistant. And today, the song I Need Thee Every Hour has really been on my heart because I felt myself, and Coco can attest to this, I've had really good moments and then really bad moments. Really like where I'm like, okay, I can do this. Really thankful that we have extra time as a family and time to be together, but then also these moments where I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do 4th grade math. Just the heaviness of people losing jobs and financially hurting, and so that's been hard. Just the heaviness of people being sick. And so I asked Coco to come, and will you come? She's going to lead us in prayer, and then we are going to paint I Need Thee Every Hour today, which is something we all could probably attest to. So Coco, will you pray for us?
Yes, ma'am. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for all of the nourishing food you have given to us for our bodies, Lord. Please help all of those who are lonely and scared, Lord. Just keep your hand over all of them. We know you will overpower all of this, God. And just help those first responders, the medical care, Lord, and just keep them safe, Lord. We don't want anyone sharing germs. And help the elderly, Lord, who are just locked up in their house. Thank you for this day and that we get to do lettering class number 7. Amen.
Amen. Thanks. Aren't you glad she's here? Send her a little happy face if you're happy she's here. So today we have our paper, and we also have our watercolors. But something I'm going to use today that I haven't been using are watercolor pencils. And I felt kind of like a doofus yesterday because Zuzu came and painted with us yesterday, and she kind of struggled a little bit through the lettering part. And this was so much simpler. So I had her use it, and she was like, this is so much easier. And so I'm sorry if you don't already have these, but if you are able, you could order through Walmart.com. I hear sometimes you could call in through Michael's and pick up if there's a Michael's near you. But so watercolor pencils, they're fairly cheap. You could probably get a set for about $5, $5 to $10. And then just plain watercolors. And watercolor paper is not a necessity, but it is very helpful. So, look, the Stroziers are happy that you're here. So, I'm going to move my phone around. Here we go. This is the test. Oh, look out my window. So beautiful. And Corey has made this amazing little doodad to help me with my lettering. Okay, so I'm going to move my paper right here, and we're going to start. We're actually going to do, let's see, I got probably a little too close.
Mom, do you paint up and down or across?
Let's see. Oh, Miss Jennifer said, thanks, Tanner and Coco. Okay, we're going to do, I think we should up and down today. Yeah. And, I was also going to show you, this was yesterday's, so we did Take Heart, I Have Overcome the World. And on that, I'm going to mail that to someone, one of my friends. And so I'm going to show you how to letter on the front of of your mailer, even to make that look pretty. So we're going to do that today in just a little bit. So you can, if you have an envelope or something, you could even get that out to do something fun with. But so we actually have a friend in Jonesboro whose house was hit by a tornado. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start with an oval. And this is for our friends in Jonesboro. I'm going to send mine to them. So start with an oval about the size of your paper, just a really, really light oval. It does not have to be perfect because we're going to paint over it. So I got my oval, and then up here we're going to do some flowers. And then you do not have to do this, but my friends in Jonesboro had a dog, a cute little white dog. And so I am going to draw right down here a little, I think it was like a Scottish Terrier. He's not, hopefully I won't make him look like a cat. I'm just going to do kind of like and he actually, in the picture I saw, he was wearing a little orange sweater. So we're going to do a little orange sweater. And again, you do not have to do the dog because this is mostly going to be floral because Coco was saying flowers and they're so happy, so I agree. So don't feel like you need to do a dog at all. This is mostly for me. So if you have an animal though that you're like, I love my dog so much and you want to do it, just put them in there. And so how I typically like to do it is I take the animal and I try to make as simple as possible, simple lines. So I just look at the shape of the head, and then I'm going to put, again, I'm putting him in a little orange sweater. And then for the features, I am just going to do a little triangle for a nose, and then 2 little eyes, and I like to space them kind of far apart more than normal, just to kind of give him a little cartoony look. So, and then I do a little upside down C, little rainbow right here for his back leg. And then I'm going to bring his little back leg down and around, and then here's his tail. So he's a little white terrier, and again, you do not have to add that part, okay? That's only if you want to. And then this morning I was actually reading, this was my other, in Psalm 118, it says, in my anguish, I cried to the Lord, and he answered me by setting me free. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I will look in triumph on my enemies. And it is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. And I think right now, how more than ever, we have got to say, okay, God, only you can handle this. Only you can do this. So if you have, moving on, if you have a marker or if you have watercolor pencils, I want you to get that. And Coco, you can choose whatever watercolor pencils you want right there. And, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to make a few lines for I need thee every hour. Let's see. I actually haven't sketched this out yet, so we're going to do 2 lines right here. I need thee. 1. So I have, almost in the middle of my circle, I have a line, right, straight across, and then about 1 inch above that, I'm starting a diagonal to go to the, just diagonal, almost looks like a little megaphone inside of my oval, okay? That's perfect, that's perfect. Okay, and then we're going to, let's see, do another, so essentially we have our oval, we have a diagonal, we have a straight line, and then another parallel line right next to that, about 2 inches down. So this is where we're starting. We're starting from these lines. Okay, now I'm going to get my watercolor pencil. What did I do with it? Oh, look, there I am. I'm not crazy. So we're going to go I with our cursive. It's okay. You just copy. Need. I need. So, we're doing gymnastics upstairs again. I need. And so you can also do this with, since we're stuck at home and you can't really go out and get all the supplies you need. You could do this with markers. You could do this with pencils. You could do this with crayons, with your kids' crayons. Okay, so on all the downstrokes, we're going to thicken that line, okay? So it doesn't look amazingly beautiful, right, whenever I do it. But then we're going to come back and we're going to thicken the downstroke line. You could actually kind of run this is essentially going to become our ink. And so you do want to make sure that it's a nice line so that when it gets wet, it will seep right in and it will look just like you watercolored it out. So again, I'm sorry that this is our first one we're doing with watercolor pencils because I really truly love them and they're easy to work with. And I can probably post some links of what kind of watercolor pencils that you could buy to make it easy for you. So I need the cry of my heart. So I'm going to do kind of a T. I can help you. You're doing great. You're doing great. So the D is going to go straight up and down. So this is obviously following that diagonal line. And D is going to follow this line, but the letters are going to get taller. They're going to follow the diagonal line. So we're going to make, essentially just little rectangles and then make them into letters. I need the, now the E's, I'm going to make lowercase e's all the way around. And essentially I just left a space right here and I'm going to fill it in with one up and down line. So again, I'm going to leave a space. I just heard a door slam. Jude is probably trying to find out how to escape to go get his lizard. He's very excited about it. Oh, they're supposed to be resting. The. I need the. And then in all of those spaces, you are going to make a little ladder. And we're going to come back and we're going to paint that in, but it's just going to give a little texture to each of those letters. I need the. This is like so relaxing for me. I hope it's relaxing for you. I need the every hour. You know what, on the, let's go ahead and darken one of those up and down lines just to give us enough ink whenever we wet it. Make it really stand out. I'm not thickening it, I'm just darkening it. Just one line. That looks great. I like the way Coco did. Can I show them? Coco did a curly cute H right here at the bottom. Just makes it a little bit more fun than mine. I like that. Okay, now we're going to follow these two straight lines, and we are going to make big cursive letters let's make sure I spell it right, Coco. And I actually, on my Y, I went past this line, and that was just a game time decision. I didn't plan to do that, but it's going to look fine here in a second. So again, we're going to come down, and every down stroke, you're going to just thicken that part of your word, of your letter. Every down stroke. Okay, hour, I'm going to go again to some block lettering just because it's so, like on things like this, I think the more differences you can do in fonts, I feel like it just adds a little different element and kind of helps to catch the eye. So I'm going to follow this circular line for like my H line. Then I do a parallel line to that for my H cross. Bring my O a little farther down. And we don't want to get too close to our oval line just because we're about to do a little floral wreath around that. That was Coco's idea. And we're going to do a little curly Q on the end of that hour. And we're going to do little rectangles again, but I'm going to fill them in all the way this time. Okay. If you want to go over those lines again, you can. I'm actually even thinking, make that one a little taller. I'm going to do some little lines on the ends of, not the O because there's no stopping point, but where there's stopping points, I'm going to add some lines just for fun. Just put a little dimension on it. Every hour. This is a hymn for all of us for right now. I'd love to know who you're going to give yours to. Okay, Coco, what color should our flower see? I have my paints. Got my water today.
Because Easter's coming up, maybe some yellow, blue, and pink.
I like that. Okay.
Or peach.
Ooh, I like peach. Yes. So I'm erasing. I'm going to go ahead and erase right up here, right above the T, because we're going to put a grouping of flowers. Oh, sorry. There you go. So erase part of that oval. You don't need to erase the whole thing because it won't really show up. But just around here where there's going to be a flower grouping, we're going to erase. And then I'm also going to erase my little training wheel lines that help me know where to put my letters. So erase all that. This afternoon, I think we might go over to the lake and throw rocks in the lake. This is kind of our entertainment right now. But I'm so thankful the sun is shining. Praise the Lord.
She needs it.
I need it. Coco knows more than anyone. Okay, let's see here.
So yellow and peach.
Yellow and peach. Okay, now Coco's going to use the watercolor pencils to draw her flowers. Let's see here. And I'm going to go ahead and just use watercolors to start off with because we'll come back and we are going to do the letters over in water, but first I'm going to do my little watercolor wreath. You know what? Actually, I am lying. I'm sorry. Let's do this first. So we're going to use our smallest brush. That way I'll take out the chance of messing up the letters by, we're just going to take water. So get our water, our brush is nice and wet. And I just dropped water on my paper. Oops. But brush is nice and wet, so you're going to dip it in the water as if you're dipping it in paint. And then you're going to bring it and you're just going to trace those letters that you just went over. Very, very simple. Just with the water. That's okay. It's okay. You won't actually see it. If you mess up a little bit, it's really not a big deal because we're going to go in between these words with a wash, a color wash. And you won't be able to see any of your mistakes. So what I love about the watercolor pencils is this. You can see that's obviously looks very much like a pencil, and then that looks just like I painted it with a watercolor brush. Very easy. Okay. And, oh, look, I did it again. What do you think Hope's doing up there? She is going to be doing some flips all over. She's probably like not know what to do whenever you're not in there.
Usually bossing me around.
Oh, that is not true.
Yes.
I think the door swings both ways on that.
No, but like
they love to play Barbies together.
I'm scared of her.
You're scared of her? I don't think so. No.
She punched me.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't hurt.
Okay, so we're following these lines with our water. Very simple, and it makes it look so pretty. Now, on the V, I'm actually going to get a little thicker brush. So this is probably like, I would say a third. That's okay, just fine. So I'm just going to paint the entire thing in, even the ladder on V. I'm going to go over the other line with my tiny brush, but this, on the big, thick one, I'm going to just do a bigger brush to cover more ground and make it not look so choppy. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to do a quote by Corrie ten Boom, and I'm very excited about it. And then on Thursday we're going to do a medical, one for medical staff, and I will encourage you to draw your own, but if you don't want to draw your own medical person, I'm probably going to have a little template on my Facebook page that you could print out, like a little 8x10 that it will just be black and white, and a little template you could print out and do later.
You know how you clean your ears with some stuff?
Mm-hmm.
With that
Q-tip?
stick? Yeah, I need a Q-tip.
Actually, a Q-tip would work really well, especially if you have some tiny artists painting right now. Q-tips would be great. They could do this.
I like to fix it.
Well, you could fix it, but you could still, like this line, these lines, you could use a Q-tip. So now we're gonna go to every.
How was yours not messed up?
Yours looks great.
Different.
Okay. I'm bringing that.
How you might get a big blob of water and you don't see it, and then it's
then it
all over your
splashes.
thing.
Well, it gives it a very pretty look. I love all watercolor looks.
Have you ever had to do a watercolor painting again?
Sure.
Like a house or...
Oh yeah, where I've messed up. Watercolors, that is one hard thing about watercolor, is it is hard to kind of
control.
well, it's hard to conceal if you mess up. Again, with acrylic and oil paint, you can kind of paint over what you've done.
Layering.
But I like layers.
And squishy makeover.
Squishy makeover. Oh. Okay, so you could again use that thicker brush for this hour.
I'm coloring backwards. I colored the R and then the U. Now I'm coloring the O.
That is totally fine. Just make sure and don't touch your hand to it if you're going backwards. If you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you may want to go, the opposite direction as far as when you're putting your brush down.
Over.
I had a little contest that if you share these watercolor videos with 2 people, or I think you share them on your social media on Friday, we'll give away one of our watercolors.
One of your kids.
I won't give away one of my kids. I can't do that right now. Okay, so now again, I'm going to come down. I'm going to paint my little dog that I did. And again, you do not have to put a dog on yours. This is just what I'm doing. I'm doing his little sweater in an orange.
It's all dry.
Okay, well, I think it looks just fine. Okay, so there's my little dog. There's his little sweater. Now, we are going to come up here, and I'm going to do some flowers. If you wanted to, flip your paper around so your hands don't touch what's still drying, the lettering that's still drying, that is just fine. That's what I'm going to do to make sure that I don't mess it up. So what did you say? Pink, yellow, and what?
Peach, yellow, and maybe blue.
Oh, peach. Okay.
Or
So,
this one.
I have some peach. Let's see if we can get this going.
I don't.
I'm going to do some big peach flowers. So again, the flowers are not going to be perfect, okay? So do not try to be symmetrical, and don't try to make them perfect circles. They're just almost little peach blobs. Okay. And you said yellow, and what? Maybe blue. Okay. We're going to start with that, and then I'm going to go, and I'm going to use about a 1/4 inch brush. And a 1/4 inch. That's how big it is. So, and Coco is here. Let's see. Coco's drawing hers in with the watercolor pencils, and that will look just fine. In fact, she could add a little bit of color to that from our watercolors afterwards. So right now, I'm going to go along. It does not have to be perfect, but I'm going to follow my little oval line all the way around. Sure, baby.
This one.
That's a little big. Let's do this one. This is actually perfect. That'll work. Okay.
Water or green?
You can start with water and then add. Are you talking about for your flowers?
No, for.
Oh, just green. So I'm using green. I've gone around my oval of my circle. Sorry, no, that didn't make any sense. Oval. And now I'm just gonna stagger little leaves. I'm just touching. You're fine. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Remember, it's not going to be perfect, and that's kind of the charm of watercolor. So I'm bringing it all the way around. I love this because it's so simple, but it looks so pretty. So I'm going to make this end at the puppy. I'm going to try to. And then I'm also going to do it over here, but I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to come out, and essentially I'm just touching my brush down. I'm not making really any kind of stroke, but I'm staggering it on either side.
Wait, are we doing that?
And then we're going to bring in some different color greens, and then Coco said yellow and maybe blue. So far we have our little watercolor wreath. We're going to come, you're fine, you have plenty of time. So right here on our blobs, on our little flower blobs, we are going to come back behind them and add some more color in just a little bit. But right now, I'm just going to add a few little leaves around here. And essentially, I'm just going to go half circle, meet to a point. Half circle, meet to a point. And I'm not going to touch them to the actual flowers because then it will bleed. Over here, I'm going to do two little ones because I don't want to get too close to that eye. And if you didn't do a little animal, you can just go all the way around just like Coco's doing. Can I show them yours? Well, I think it looks great. I promise. And whoever you give it to is going to love it. Okay. You could just go all the way around if you don't have a little dog like me. Okay. I need the every hour. Now, we're going to come back in and let's see. It's not my smallest brush, but it's definitely a small brush. So I'm sorry that's not focusing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and we're going to add a little bit of yellow to this because it is spring. Praise the Lord that this is the time that we can get outside and walk. So I'm essentially doing groupings of 3 little dots. It could also be done with a Q-tip. I think Coco had a great idea, use a Q-tip. So the 3 little dots, and we're going to go all the way around our little wreath, spacing them out, trying to, I don't know, maybe about 1 inch apart. I'm going from side to side just to kind of make it a little different. So we're adding 3 little leaves. No, sorry, 3 little buds. 3 little dots. And that one's a little too close, but it's okay. I think you'll forgive me. Hopefully. Okay, so I got my 3 little dots spaced evenly out. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add a little bit of darker pink to my flowers on one side and they're still a little wet, so it's going to bleed, but that's okay. That's what we want to give it that watercolor look. Okay, so this is what we have thus far. Now, I'm going to also use this smaller brush, and I'm going to bring out a couple just straight lines of grass, kind of like if we were to make a wreath or what are those things that go over doors? Just a little spray of flowers. And just to make it stand out a little bit. Little sprigs of grass coming out. And I think blue is a good idea. And let's do maybe a bluish purple. And we're going to do like some hyacinth. Okay, bluish purple. Get indigo. I'm going to do a few little dots right here, a few little dots below my eye, and you can kind of fit this in wherever your words are. Might be a little different than where mine are. I'm going to do some up here. With flowers and things, you can't make anything predictable or symmetrical, but I do like to have groupings of 3. I kind of feel like it balances everything. Now under my little puppy dog, I'm going to put a slight little shadow under him to show that he is seated. Again, if you don't have a puppy dog on yours, that is okay. But that's going to show that my little puppy is seated, and that's for my friends in Jonesboro. Okay. Now, I'm going to paint in my dog. He's white. So I'm going to paint him in white, although it kind of just looks gray. Okay, now we're going to do a wash on the outside. What color should we do on the outside, Coco? Huh?
What do you mean?
Just right out here. What color? I think the blue would look nice. Want to do that? Okay, well, let's just go for it. Okay, so I'm going to take a bigger brush, inch brush. I'm going to go all the way around. Now, it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. You're almost done, y'all. I want to know who you give this to. You could also just post a picture and encourage people with the wording that you've done. So I'm going to try to go around those little leaves. It's not going to be perfect, but I also want to leave some space so you can see a definite space. So I'm going to start with my blue on the outside, and then I'm just going to work it in. Make sure there's a lot of water. So I did see a few paintings where there just needed to be a little bit more water and it would look so much more smooth. So lots of water. Bring it across. And you could even leave the inside area white if you want. Or you could add a different color on the inside area. So you can leave it white or you can add a color. I'm going to choose to add a color because I think the more color the merrier. I'm sorry, Coco. I just did that. I just dropped a paintbrush on her painting. Okay. I think I'm going to do yellow because that's so happy. Okay. We also drove by and saw some friends today and waved at them from our car and threw toilet paper out our window. It was awesome. It was awesome because we saw people from the outside world. So with this brush, you're going to try your best not to touch the letters. Hopefully they've dried by now. If they haven't, just be extra careful. And for the inside, use a smaller brush because you want to get all the way around those letters. That's perfect. Let's see if we can get around this. I have a big blob of water right here where I'm like, ooh, don't want to touch that. That would bleed all over the place. I would love to know if any of y'all have creative ways to love people because I feel like just thinking, and one of our friends was so sweet and invited all of us to go, not all of us, invited a bunch of kids to stay 6 feet apart, but like go kind of do a little parade at the nursing home. And it probably touched me more than anybody else, just watching and the way that my friend thought through how to love people who are hurting and who are lonely right now in this season. Coco is probably my most compassionate kid, so she's always really good at coming up with things. Okay, so again, in between all those letters, adding a little bit of sunshine. That looks awesome. Looks really good. I love it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you right now because this is going to be wet for a little bit. But if you've done a little animal, and I'd love to see if you do your animal right now, we're calling our dog our therapy dog. His name is Lucky, and he's amazing. Okay, so if you did a little dog, I'm going to show you a little trick of my trade. I use the tiny brush, teeny tiny brush, and I'm going to dip it in black paint, and I'm just going to outline him. But I'm not going to do it right now because he is wet, and it would totally bleed everywhere and not do well. As well as the black could also, and again, because this is wet, I'm not going to show you right now, but you could go around. This is going to give a softer look right now, but if you wanted a more defined look, you could just kind of outline, again, not with like thick lines, but very thin lines in black, just to give a definite outline. You could also go around your little leaves and highlight them if you want to. So again, that's going to take a little bit of time, but right now we got time to give, don't we? So I'm just going to outline those, and then we're going to go see what the boys are doing. Hopefully they're not doing a ninja warrior course like they were the other day. But everyone is safe. Don't worry. No one was harmed in the making of their Ninja Warrior course. Okay, I'm going to come back over here, do the same thing. Oh, I just put my hand down on the wet paint. But that's okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I was going to show y'all how to letter. Y'all can be lettering wedding invitations and such. You can open your own Etsy shops. You're going to learn how to do a little invitation. Okay. So, there is that. I need the every hour. I want to see who you share yours with. Okay. On this, I have my envelope. And where are my markers? Can you go get me the markers, Coco? Actually, look, I have one right here. There we go. Okay. So, letter it? Sure. There's another envelope in there. Okay, so right now I'm going to do one to Mimi, because we always love to send our Mimi things. Sure. So I'm just doing my normal letters. Again, you can come back in, make them thicker, make them fun. So curly cues at the beginning. And then for the address, we're going to do block lettering. 1, so what I like to do is I like to do the block lettering and then curly cue lettering on the city and then I'll skip again to block lettering for the zip code if I go down. The same thing right here on the return address. I'm going to write Cangelosi for fun. But what a fun, sure you can call her. But what a fun thing to do right now to send things to people who are in need. Or who are just feeling lonely. It's going to mean so much more right now. And then go curly Q letter again on the city and then block lettering on the zip code. So that would be fun. Oh, there goes Coco's calling Mimi. Let's go see what the boys are doing. And then I'll let you go. I hope y'all have had a great day. I hope you're having fun. There's dirty laundry on my floor. Welcome to the quarantine house of the Cangelosi's. Let's see here. Let's see if they actually stayed in here. Hey. Yeah. How you doing?
Come out.
Yeah, are you done resting? Hey, were you actually resting or were you building a Ninja Warrior course?
I was watching.
You were watching him? Can you say hi? A giant racetrack?
It's over there. I needed to get
You can go see your lizard. You can go see your lizard.
Mom, your phone is so pretty.
Thank you. Got the hammock, the Legos going, a very messy room that
Mommy,
needs to be cleaned before we go.
You said that.
Before we go, let's see here.
We're having a Zoom conference.
Oh, with who? How fun! She's talking to her friends. Okay, Coco, do you want to get out the mat right there? Coco wants to show you something.
Oh, can I show you something?
Yes. Maybe if you're doing a back handspring, let's go on the... Uh-huh.
Okay. Wait, Mom.
Okay.
Can I show you something?
In just a second. Beautiful. The Coco Show. Okay, Zuzu's turn. That's okay. Try again.
Mother.
Beautiful.
Time to show them the TV.
Beautiful. Time to show them the TV? Okay. Well, we love you very much. Can y'all say, we hope you have a great day?
We have to